Meet again Mark Woodbury, president of Universal Creative. You all met him yesterday. We also have with us Terry Kuhl, who is vice president of creative development for Universal Creative. Terry is on Mark's team, and he oversaw the entire creative development for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We have Alan Gilmore with us, who is our art director for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. He was appointed art director by Stuart Craig. Thank you so much, Stuart, for lending him to us. We're so happy to have him. David Barone and David Heyman, who are our filmmakers, of course, the producers of the Harry Potter film series, without whom we could not have done this, because we wouldn't have had the films to inspire us. And of course, last but not least, the award-winning production designer, Stuart Craig, whose vision in for the first time realizing visually for us what all of this should look like has been an inspiration and really a partnership and collaboration for us from the beginning. Just the incredible collaboration between Mark and Terry, Alan, David, and Stuart. This is why this is so special. The collaboration between Universal Creative, Warner Brothers, the filmmakers, and the creative team. So welcome, gentlemen. We're so honored to have you here with us today. All right, well, we're just going to go ahead and open the floor up to questions. Who'd like to start? Let's start.
Terry, I was going to ask you if you could explain maybe in some detail why there's weight and size requirements for the real journey that prevent some guests from being able to ride it.
That's a great question, actually. Last time we had Dwight Howard coming here and riding the Forbidden Journey, and he had a great time on the ride. But it's not unlike most of our attractions at Universal Orlando Resort, where we have to have for the safety and enjoyment of our guests. We really need to have a certain size requirement, given the restraint systems. But it's really not uncommon, and actually the Forbidden Journey is right in line with most of our attractions.
And Dwight Howard what? 6'11"?
6'11".
He can ride.
He's a big guy.
Okay.
So clearly there's not an upper to the side.
Yeah, right.
He did say it was expected across the
The
shoulder.
parents are different on every ride. Yes, sir.
My question is for Stuart Craig. A lot of times on movies, there's designs for sets or settings that, for whatever reason, can't be used in the movie at the cost or if it gets written out of the story. And I know sometimes in theme parks, they get a chance to use those designs again or use them more, to a greater extent, as they originally envisioned. I know, like in Star Trek, the experience in Vegas, there were certain aspects of the Enterprise Bridge which they could never build for the series for cost reasons, but they were able to put it into the facsimile there. And I was wondering if that's the case here as well, or not.
Well, you're sitting in one very obvious one, actually. We do have a 3 broomsticks in the movie. In fact, there are 2 manifestations of it in 2 different movies, but this is way bigger than the set for the movie ever was. It's faithful in the spirit of the thing, but it's much bigger. It's a 3 for light space.
I have right here in the front.
Thank you. For whoever who can answer this, I would like to know if you are planning on making any additions, for instance, the Shrieking Shack?
Making any additions?
Any additions?
Well, we don't have any plan currently. I think what we have now at the Wizarding World is just a great assortment of things to do, from Hogsmeade to the Forbidden Journey. So we're pretty happy with what we're delivering now.
Good morning, everyone. I asked yesterday to one of the creative people at Universal, but I'm going to ask you guys, why did you decide to just make it Hogsmeade as opposed to also extending it to the London portions like Diagon Alley and Nocturne Alley?
It was a very conscious decision, and with the help of Stuart and Alan, of course, to think about what would be the best experience and give us the biggest opportunity for things to do. And Hogsmeade lent itself so well to be here and in its relationship to Hogwarts Castle. So, not at the exclusion of Diagon Alley, we thought about it. We also have some pretty urban spaces over at Universal Studios, so we've got a New York street and kind of a real urban spot over there. So the village of Hogsmeade really felt like the right thing to do for us, particularly with its relationship to Hogwarts.
And like I say, from my point of view, it feels, one of the great things about Hogsmeade is, as Mark was saying, is it does allow you to do a variety of things. But it feels like a unified element. If you had Diagon Alley and a variety of other things, I think it would have, one of the things I really love about coming into this world is that it feels completely immersive and you're not aware of the joins. It feels like a unified space. And if we'd had those other things, I think we may have worked against that.
I'm not sure who the director seems to be today. There's been a lot of talk about how involved J.K. Rowling was. I was wondering if you could walk through some specific examples of things she sort of insisted on being included, or alternatively things that she said she did not want included.
Well, I can tell you this, that from the early outset, J.K. Rowling was a critical part of the process and had remained that way throughout everything we did, and really had a great participation in the process from beginning to end, inclusive of being here last night.
I mean, I'm just speaking to it in relation to the films. Again, one of the great things about Jo is she understands that the films are different to the books, and she understands that the theme is different to the books. So she is the most generous of collaborators, really encouraging, Universal and the entire team to do what they can, do everything they can within the opportunities that are present itself within a theme park.
10 years ago, she gave you and I a map. We met her for the first time and had stacks of questions, and she drew a map of the world, which I still have. I'm sure you have your copy. And so that really did lay out the relationship with Hogsmeade Village, Hogwarts Castle, the wing boards, the gateway, where the train station is. The first years ago, across by water, into the school by water. Everybody else goes around in carriages, one by that whole thing that everybody, all the devotees of the books understand. She set that very clearly in this very clear map.
And it's really useful for us. I mean, just speaking of it, it's unbelievable. It's fantastic if you ever want a bit of advice. You say, well, we've got. When we were doing in the fifth film, the Black family tree, we'd go to Jo and we said, in the book there are 3 or 4 names. Can you help us? Because in the film we were going to show more of it, and it's not dissimilar to this. And 15 minutes later, this family tree with 100 names, with birthdays, death days, who was married to who, arrived on my computer. And her knowledge of this world is so rich. And you look, I think one of the things I love about this theme park is the detail. And it's a really immersive experience because there's everywhere you look, there's a little bit that comes from Jo Rowling, because her books are so detailed and so rich, and from Stuart Allen in particular, and the way that Thierry and his team and Mark and have built on it is just fantastic. Because the attention to detail in this park. Sorry, it's what makes it. I've walked around some years. I took my 3-year-old son on a couple of rides yesterday, and maybe I'm biased, but I'd say this is unbelievable. Thank you guys. You just made it
exceeded our wildest expectations.
Yeah, really have we could ever just pushed it.
I want to know if, since the beginning, the park was planned to be called the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, or we have other names?
No, well, whether it was originally called the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, yes, it was originally called the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. There were some other code names we used in the development when we were in a very secretive mode that still remain code names.
Yeah. You have to kill us to find out what they are.
That's why they call them code names.
Exactly.